postseason is ever going to be easy, but we didn't fold the tent, or we didn't settle for being mediocre, and that's because of the players, their willingness to keep getting better, and it made for a really special regular season. Now we got to try to have a special postseason. To the fans, we appreciate so much your support. When this place gets rocking, we love it. We appreciate it. We need it, and we embrace and ask you to keep getting crazy during the postseason, because it's really meaningful, and we welcome it a lot. Thank you.
The final game of the season is presented by Hankook Tires. It's the Cleveland Indians and the Chicago White Sox. The Indians getting ready for October baseball. Will they finally bring home their first World Championship since 1948? We'll find out in just a few short weeks. Hi again, everyone. Matt Underwood alongside Rick Manning. As we bid adieu to the regular season, we can't go without looking back at what has been a phenomenal season from the Indians' 1-2 punch of Francisco Lindor and Jose Ramirez. They've combined 99 doubles, 62 homers, 31 steals.
You want to talk about providing energy for a lineup. These two switch hitters do it. I mean, from both sides of the plate, they do it at home and on the road. They are exciting. Ever since Ramirez moved into that second base spot, they have created a lot of energy for this baseball club, and I'll tell you, that's one of the best hitters in the game is Ramirez, and Lindor is not far behind. They're both even, and it's fun to watch these two guys. Look at Lindor, only player in the majors with 40 doubles, 30 homers, and 15 stolen bases or more, and Jose Ramirez, an extra base hits, 90 of them. Count them, 90 of them with 55 doubles.
An amazing season without a doubt, and Edwin Encarnacion was the big name in the offseason that came to Cleveland, and as the saying goes, it's not how you start, it's how you finish, and over the last 2 months he's hit 17 home runs.
Well, he's the beneficiary of the #1 hitter and the #3 hitter. He gets to hit with these guys on base, and he's starting to hit pitches that he was not hitting earlier in the year. He's having a very good September. He's taken the pitch away. He's driving it to right field. He hit his first home run to right earlier in the week, and he is just staying on the baseball. When you see the September, he's got 29 ribbies in 27 games, 7 homers, hitting .320, and that's why I think that average is going up. He's using more of the baseball field.
All right, we'll be back with today's first pitch between the Indians and the White Sox. Plus, Al and Jensen have the big story of the American League playoff picture, and Andre Knott has more on the best pitching staff top to bottom in the American League next. Cleveland Indians baseball is brought to you by WB Mason, the official office supplier of the Cleveland Indians. By McDonald's, I'm loving it. By your local Toyota dealers. Visit buyatoyota.com. Toyota, let's go places. And by Nature Stone, the only concrete solution.
The regular season as the Indians take on the White Sox. Nice crowd here today. You ought to see outside the center field gates right now. There are a ton of people waiting to get in here for the final Indians game of the regular season. Another great crowd expected. Crowd's been great all season long. Welcome in. Along with Jensen Lewis, I'm Al Pulowski here in center field. Our big story today is the American League playoff picture because that has been settled this weekend. It's the big story, and it is the Indians on Thursday night in the wild card against the winner of the Twins and Yankees. This is why you're the #1 seed. You have the opportunity to play that wild card team. And Jensen, as we were talking about on Indians Live, that forces those teams to use their best just to get to Thursday.
It sounds like if all stays where it is, then Luis Severino will take on Irvin Santana. There's even rumors that Jose Barrios might come in relief of Santana for the Twins. You blow your first two guys right there, you're looking at the likes of Bartolo Colon, maybe Kyle Gibson starting game 1 of the LDS. It's awesome. I love the Game 7 feel of it, and the Indians just sit back and wait.
It's nice to know the Tribe won't have to worry about another game until Thursday in the opening round of the ALDS. Let's head upstairs for the call of today's game, the regular season finale. We'll see these guys with us on our postseason coverage. Matt Underwood, Rick Manning. Guys.
Thank you, Al and Jensen. Yeah, it's kind of sad to have to say goodbye as far as our play-by-play and color analyst the duties for the regular season. Final game for us, but we will continue on with our postseason duties. And I know I speak for Rick when I say it has been our great privilege, our honor. We have been blessed to be able to work alongside for the past 3 years now a guy we like to refer to as our big toe, Andre Knott.
Oh, man, that's too nice. Sorry. The thing I love about baseball, and I'm blessed to be with you guys as well, especially the governor who hates all these nice things that we say. But in baseball terms, one of the coolest things about baseball is the numbers in the game. And some old school people look at the numbers like ERA, wins, and they think that's important. New school guys, when you're talking about pitching, there's numbers and stats that we haven't even heard of yet that they're looking at to say what pitching staffs is one of the best ever. Well, the Indians, no matter how you stack it up, whether you look at their 22-game win streak or you look at just their overall record, they come down as one of the best pitching staffs of all time to some. So I went inside the Indians locker room to see exactly how they felt about possibly being one of the better pitching staffs we've seen in a very long time in our today's Hear Right Sounds of the Game.
I don't think we knew it was even knowledge to any of us until maybe like a week ago. I think Mickey brought up to us I think it was Tomlin's bullpen, and Mickey brought up to us, and we just went straight back to thinking about that Braves, Smoltz, Glavine, Maddox, and just to be in that company itself seems unrealistic.
I don't know what the exact numbers are. I mean, obviously, we have really good, talented guys. I mean, we've had it for the last couple of years. I think we've set records for, strikeouts in seasons, broken them, rebroken everything else. I mean, obviously, we got guys with really good stuff. And obviously, everybody putting it together this year the way we have, has obviously got us to where we're at right now.
It's numbers, it's a sheet of paper, it's projections, all that stuff. That stuff doesn't matter. What matters is what happens on the field. And as long as these guys keep pitching well and, we keep trying to go out there and do our job and prepare the best we can, that's where the results hopefully will end up.
Ultimately, Arch, history judges greatness by what you do in October, but this staff has a chance to be one of the really special ones of all time.
Well, it's been a treat to watch them go at it all year long, and I'll tell you what, there's not many better, if there are any, but they were fun to watch. And I'll tell you what, we're going to get down to this last game. You can see the kids, they've got their own questions. They want to find out what's going on. Josh Tomlin will be the Northern Ohio Honda starting pitcher for the last game. Tomlin is making his 26th start this year. He's at 509-9. He has pitched, he started 3 times against the White Sox. He's 0-2. Remember back at the end of July, he started that one game. He had to come out after 4 innings when he was throwing a shutout because he pulled that hamstring. That's where he missed some time. He's coming out of that start in Chicago. So he will end it here against the White Sox, and we'll see what Josh has to offer. He has a chance to get to double digit in wins.
Starting 9 for Rick Renteria's Chicago White Sox, brought to you by Hankook Tires. Yolmer Sanchez leading it off. Yohan Moncada will bat second. Jose Abreu is third. Then it's Matt Davidson, Rob Brantley, Tim Anderson, Reimer Liriano in left, Alan Hansen in right, Adam Engel in center. Round out the starting 9 for Chicago.
And the defense brought to you by Ram. Jackson in left, Kipnis in center, Bruce in right. It'll be Diaz at third, Lindor at short, Ramirez is at second, Santana at first, Perez doing the catching.
Lance Barrett behind the plate. Crew chief Mark Wegner down at first. Jim Reynolds at second. Pat Hoberg is at third. And with that, we are ready to go. Fouled right back out of play. Yolmer Sanchez 2 for 8 in the series with a home run. And that's outside. 1-1. 68 degrees our game time temperature. Breeze blowing in from center. It's going to keep it cool, especially for those fans in the shade.
A little different start time today. 3 o'clock now. We've had the 1s, the 4, and the 7. Never a 3.
Josh Tomlin has walked only 14 batters in 135, almost 136 innings of work. But he's 3-1 to Sanchez to start here. Got in on him and popped it up. Kipnis a long run in. Going out as Ramirez. He's there, 1 down. Storylines brought to you by Wayside Furniture. Josh Tomlin, potentially a number 4 starter in the Indians' postseason plans. And we're going to take a look back throughout the telecast at some of the big moments of 2017. Yoan Moncada batting second. You think maybe the White Sox are the only team in baseball history to have the top 2 guys in their lineup both first names starting with the letter Y?
Well, well, go ahead. I'm sure someone's going to find out about you. I didn't think about it.
Yolmer and Yoan. Well, maybe it'll spark a new rash of baby boys in Chicago on the south side.
Josh wants a new baseball here. Well, this is the big name they wanted when they got from the Red Sox when they traded Chris Sale. Is Moncada.
Fouled right back. A little low, 2-2. Tomlin deals. Checked. It's low. Full count. Well, Moncada, you look at his numbers, the 230 average, certainly not all that appealing, but he's been better of late. Last 20 games hitting closer to 300. Puts a charge into that one. Deep center field. Kipnis back on the track at the wall. He's going to play it off the scoreboard. And in the second with a 1-out double is Moncada, his 8th double of the year.
Well, he smoked that ball to left center field. Normal day, that might have been out of here, but that wind maybe knocking it down a little bit. Kipnis went back to the wall, realized he wasn't going to catch it, and played it off the auxiliary scoreboard out there. So he did a nice job getting it on one bounce. It didn't hit the padding to ricochet over his head. So it's a double all the way. Number 8 for Moncada.
Yeah, it's an interesting day if you're Jason Kipnis in center field, because anything hit to his left is going to get knocked down immediately by the wind, and anything that's hit high in the air is going to get knocked down. So I don't know how you adjust to your positioning if you play maybe in a little bit more.
Well,
to adjust for that,
you could. He's still getting used to it out there. You know, he's not as comfortable. He's been trying to creep in as time goes on, but Josh is a fly ball pitcher, so you may want to play a little deeper. You've got the sun out today. It's a pretty high sky to pick it up.
Best thing he has going for him, he told me last night, he finally feels like himself. He finally feels healthy. He's not questioning and thinking out in center field or at the plate, and that's what he needed going into the playoffs.
Another pop-up. This one's on the infield. Santana says he'll take it. And he does, just into foul ground, 2 away.
He was not going to let Ramirez get anywhere near that. He said, "Get away from me."
For the White Sox, batting fourth, the first baseman, number 24, Matt Davidson.
So much of athletics is eliminating, this probably sounds weird, but eliminating the brain. When you're just reacting as opposed to thinking about reacting. And I think what Andre's trying to say is that's where Jason's at now. He's no longer thinking about the hamstring or thinking about where he should be, what he should be doing. He's just letting his natural instincts now take over, and that's why he probably feels comfortable.
Call it eliminate doubt. When you can do that and you're healthy, you have to be healthy pretty much to do that. If you're not healthy, then you're always questioning your body. And it gets tougher the older you get in the game when you go out there and try and play every day.
Slow breaking ball, chopped to short. Lindor has it, flips it to first, side, retired. No runs, a hit, a man left. The Indians are coming to bat when we come back.
Volstad's turn to go out and take them out. He will be the Northern Ohio Honda starting pitcher. For the White Sox, it's only going to be his second start this year, and he has a record of 1-1 of 473, only 13 in the third innings. Spent most of the time down in the minor leagues, so first time he's ever going to get a look at the Indians.
And the Indians starting 9 for Terry Francona, brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Lindor, Kipnis, Ramirez at the top. Edwin, J, Carlos in the middle. Ajax, Yandy Diaz, Roberto Perez rounding it out. Tribe has won 32 of their last 36 heading into this final day of the season.
Volstad spending most of his career in the National League with the Marlins, the Cubs, the Rockies, the Pirates, and now with the White Sox.
Downstairs, 3-0. That's in there, 3-1. ball 4, and the Indians leadoff man is aboard to start the game.
Let's check out the Sox defense, brought to you by WB Mason. It'll be Liriano in left, Engel in center, Hansen in right. Sanchez at third, Anderson at short, Moncada at second, Davidson at first, and Brantley doing the catching.
Tell you what, Arch, last night we saw a really good pitching performance by Carson Fulmer. He only went 5, but he only allowed 3 hits. And then the White Sox bullpen held the Indians down as well, as Chicago won it by a score of 2-1. One of the few times in the last month and a half that we've seen a really good pitching performance against the Indians.
Yeah, they were quiet. The bats were quiet.
Pitch outside. Ball 1. Jason Kitten is 2 for 6 in the series with a double. A little low, and it's 2-0, and all of a sudden the Indians hitters, 7 pitches in, they've seen 1 strike.
Yeah, well, you got to get him in the strike zone. You're not going to swing the bat until he proves he can get it in there. It's only his 2nd start this year, as I mentioned.
Taken all the way, it's in there, barely, if that.
Take a look at it. Nissan pitch trigger. That was a little low. Maybe gave him a little help there.
Jason lifts one left field, but it's going to slice out of play. White Sox not much of a shift, but Adam Engel really shallow in center field. Kind of what we were talking about before, with that wind really blowing in.
Use that as your friend.
Yeah, it's going to be tough to drive one out of here at center. Not that you can't, but
you're going to have to, well, I don't know about center. Line drive if you're going to right field, because it's been that way this homestand. The wind blowing in off the leg cooled it down.
3-2 pitch. Ball 4, and he's walked the first 2 to start.
That is walk number 600 for this ball club. And they usually take advantage of walks. If you're going to give it to them, they will say thank you, and they usually take advantage of it. So we'll see now. It's up to Ramirez, Encarnacion, and Bruce after he walks the first 2 hitters of the game. Certainly not the way you want to start.
White Sox pitchers, though, Arch, you mentioned the Indians as a team, they have walked 600 times. The White Sox have walked more than any team in the American League. That's their 628th walk that they have issued.
Yeah, 3 passes, they hurt you.
And Jose Ramirez looks at a strike. He's just going to do a quick look and see how that stacks up against the National League. I think that's the most in all of baseball. No, Cincinnati 631. Jose Ramirez fouling it back out of play. No matter how you slice it, you can't defend the walk, and when you put guys on base, you have to pitch out of more trouble. For the Indians, it's been quite a season with Ramirez and Lindor. And Jose Down on the count 0-2, but batting in a situation here with the table already set.
Well, it just makes it when you get to hitters 0-2 like this, especially when you're facing really good hitters, you don't give them the opportunity to sit on the pitch that they like. See, I think that last pitch, Jose had to expand his strike zone a little bit, fouled it off.
Just missed outside. 90 extra base hits for Jose Ramirez this year. Down and in, he missed. And now it's 2-2. Outside. So how do you like that? He went from 0-2 to 3-2. Not quite a sellout today, but a lot of seats occupied, and still a good number of folks still trying to get in. Ball 4. How about that? He's walked the bases loaded to start. Nobody out.
There's Don Cooper. He's got to make this. Here he comes. Yeah, you can't walk the first 3 hitters of this lineup in the very first inning. 2 things happen. You get your pitch count up, and you're going to put your team behind in a hurry.
Back on July 25th with the bases juiced. Edwin Encarnacion with a walk-off grand slam against the Angels.
It was snowing that day in July.
It was Christmas in July.
Yes,
absolutely
it was. Oh boy.
Edwin with 17 home runs since the calendar turned to August.
Yeah, and I mean 29 RBIs in the month of September in 27 games, and the table is set to get over the 30 mark now.
Fouled off of his foot. Boy, after walking 3 in a row, he wasn't going to spot him one.
Well, he figured his pitching coach went out there and says, look, you got to start, get ahead of these guys, and he was looking for a fastball and going to get after it.
Travis Hafner drove in 30.
Well, that's impressive. So he's got a chance to get that right here.
Volstad deals, and Edwin with a liner caught by Anderson. The flip back not in time. And there's out number 1.
Good base running by Kipnis to get back there on line drives. A lot of time base runners will try and go to the next base. But I'll tell you, he did a nice job. That could have been an easy double play. It was like a soft line drive, but Kip stopped, he froze, he saw where the guy was, he got back. Good base running. So they only get the 1 out there. Now Jay Bruce will get an opportunity.
Jay Bruce sitting on 99 runs batted in for the year. Takes the first pitch, strike. 36 homers, 29 doubles. He's got base runners everywhere.
Well, I'm sure he'd like to get to that round number of 100 as well. And
driven into right field, a base hit. That scores Lindor. Here comes Kipnis. He'll score 2. On his way to third is Ramirez. It's a 2-run single for Jay Bruce, and he's over the 100 RBI mark for the year, and the Indians are on the board 2-0.
Nice line drive stroke there by Jay. He got a fastball coming inside on the inner part of the plate and brought the hands in, hits a line drive to right field. That'll score Lindor and Kipnis, and the Indians play from in front once again.
Let's go down to Andre Knott.
Well, you're talking about Jay Bruce going over the 100 RBI mark, and as you see right there, it's the second time in his career that he's been able to do that. He told me a couple nights ago the greatest thing about this team, other than the winning, has been that they've won enough games that it's okay for guys to kind of go for personal stats and personal achievements because it's still within the team and it's still within the game. He told me that after he hit his career high 36 home run. I said, "Are you pulling for 100?" And he looked at me and said, "I'd be a fool to tell you that I'm not looking for it." So he loves that it's okay with this team. If you got a number you're looking for, go get it. Just play within yourself and don't take away from the team.
Carlos Santana with Indians at the corners and one out. Right center field, a catch made by Engel. He throws to home. Here's the slide by Ramirez, and he is safe. 3-0 Cleveland. RBI number 79 for Santana.
I gotta tell you, that was a really nice play by Engel out in center field. He covered a lot of ground, and on the run, he ends up firing a ball that was, into the left-handed batter's box a little bit. The catcher, Brantley, made a nice pick, but a tough play with his momentum going away. But Ramirez scores, so the sacrifice fly goes to Santana, and all of the walks have come in to score for the Indians.
Austin Jackson swing and a miss.
Chris Volstead in his last start, it came against the Angels. He gave up 6 runs in 5 innings. All 6 runs came in the second inning, where he gave up home runs to Mike Trout, which was a 3-run homer. Brandon Phillips hit a 2-run homer, and Valbuena a solo homer. So a big inning early. That was the second inning. The Indians come out and scored 3 here in the first, but it was because of his wildness that he put the base runners on early.
The scoring first. The Indians have been tough to beat, 77-21 on the year when they get that first run across. Blooped right center. Engel playing shallow, able to get there and make the catch to end the inning. But the Indians turn 3 walks into 3 runs. They lead it 3-0.
Connected with a fully customizable experience. You can get home screen icons and app features, as well as game day live Game video highlights, radio broadcasts, and more. Download MLB.com. At bat today.
Rob Brantley, the White Sox catcher, leading off here in the second inning. Bounced in there for ball one to even the count. Pop foul. Yandy gives it a quick run over to the railing.
Let's go, Andre. You got to help him over there.
The railing stopped him
Tell
from
him he's
going
out of
any
room.
further.
Tell him he's out of room. No, he's not. You got to get over there and help him, man, in case he flips over there. Big Danny was running.
I figured he'd fall on Danny. He'd be safe.
You got to get over there and hold him.
Upstairs. Ground ball towards first. Santana takes it himself. One down. Well, our stat of the game is brought to you by Buick.
The shortstop, number 7,
Indians with the lowest ERA in the majors historically when they've been able to do that. They went to the World Series twice. How will this year end up?
Well, let's hope it's like 48.
Off-speed pitch in there for a strike to Tim Anderson. Curveball missed. Tied him up. Nice pitch by Tomlin. That's his first strikeout, and there are two down here in the second inning.
batting 7th for Chicago. The left fielder, number 48, Reiner.
Well, check it out. The first strikeout, that fastball, went up and in with it. Looked like a little two-seamer. Going at 88, had the run going inside. Nice pitch.
Checked on a ball that was outside. Swung out and missed, and it's 2-1. Nice hook.
Yeah, the nice curveball. That's the pitch that really sets up a lot of Tomlin's other pitches, and that big curveball. Vital pitch in his game plan.
Swung out and missed. Tomlin with his second strikeout. Back-to-back Ks to end the second inning. Cleveland 3, Chicago nothing. Here in the home half of the second, Yandy Diaz, Roberto Perez, and Francisco Lindor will lead it off. Big chopper towards first base. And a nice play by Davidson. Good throw leading the pitcher to the bag for out number 1.
Well, download MLB's free ballpark app to securely manage your tickets and skip lines by gaining access to our mobile-only gates. Plus, you'll unlock special offers from our partner KeyBank and more. Visit Indians.com for more info. And these could, you better download it now because the lines, postseason coming. It'll help you out when you come down to the ballpark for postseason games.
Roberto Perez takes a look at a ball inside. Fouled right back. Roberto 0 for 3 in the series, has walked and scored a run though. Checks. It's a borderline pitch called a strike. It's been offensively a tough year for Roberto Perez. Batted .1086 in the month of August. Shatters the bat here to third base. Sanchez will throw him out. And there are 2 down. Back on April 5th, it was the series finale down in Texas. They'd already beaten Rangers closer Sam Dyson once. Francisco Lindor beat him again with a grand slam as the Indians completed a 3-game sweep of the Rangers in Arlington. If we only knew then what a precursor of things to come that would be for one Frankie Lindor. Wow, what a year he's had. 89 runs driven in, 33 homers, most ever by a switch hitting shortstop, most ever by any Indians shortstop. Also 44 doubles.
Yeah, it's been a very special year.
Matt, Rick, the one thing I'll remember from April 5th that night was all Frankie wanted to talk about after that game was the 2 errors he made earlier in the game that hurt the starting pitcher from getting the win. If you remember, that tells you all you need to know about him.
With 2 down, the play is made at first. Always remember the expression Lindor made after that. He wasn't the normal happy smiling self that we have grown accustomed to. come later in the game for Miller Time, brought to you by Miller Lite. Josh Tomlin facing Alan Hansen here to start the third inning. And Hansen takes a strike. Slow chopper to second base. Ramirez will throw him out. One down. Injury report brought to you by the attorneys at Elk and Elk. Max Scherzer went out today and did his normal routine, the same routine he does after every start he has made this year. So reports are that he is going to be fine. It was a precautionary situation.
They certainly hope
night.
so, don't they? Getting ready to head into the playoffs. They need him.
Adam Engel 0 for 5 in the series. Nice curveball. Back out of play.
Send out some birthday wishes. Mary Jane Klein of Suffield is turning 93. Dorothy Dozier of Cleveland, 88. Happy birthday to you too.
Swung on and missed. Tomlin with his third strikeout. So first time through the order. The White Sox go 1 for 9 with a double and 3 strikeouts against Tomlin.
Elevated the fastball right there. Good pitch. He's done that twice for 2 out of his 3 strikeouts. The elevated fastball. Josh Tomlin, as usual, coming out 9 out of 10 first pitch strikes.
That slow hook, and he fouls it off the end of the bat.
Finish up our birthdays. Alia Karam of Lexington, Kentucky is 84. Pat Manning of Wellington is 76. And a happy 75th wedding anniversary to Hugh and Retta Martin of Valley City.
Swung out and missed. Josh Tomlin, he is dealing. He's fanned 4 in 3 one-hit shutout innings in the regular season finale.
2017 Major League Baseball postseason. It'll begin October 3rd. Go to MLB.com/postseason for a full schedule.
Jason Kipnis is leading off the home half of the third. He walked and scored in the first inning, taking the first pitch strike. A roller to second, and there's out number one. T-Mobile deeper coverage American League MVP race. Jose Altuve, a .347 average, running away with the batting title. Jose Ramirez leading the league, of course, in extra base hits. Aaron Judge, 52 home runs, certainly will get a number of looks. Curious to see how the voting ends up playing out. I think a lot of people have already sort of decided that Altuve's the guy. But Jose Ramirez certainly should get his fair share of consideration, I would think.
Well, I think Jose right now is trying to get to that 30 mark in home runs.
Do you think people that maybe look at the Indians from the outside, in other words, guys that are going to vote but haven't seen the Indians but maybe more than a handful of times this year, could potentially look at Ramirez and Lindor and say, well, in terms of the most valuable player, maybe Ramirez and Lindor take some votes away?
Because Lindor's had a great second half. I think he could take some votes away from Jose, yes.
Fouled off by Ramirez.
This is a guy here, though. He hits good pitching. You know, good quality starting pitching. Remember, we played in New York. He was facing Severino and took him deep twice in one game.
I'll never forget the 5 extra base hits.
Yeah.
That was
a very special game.
You just don't see that. The 2-2. Out of play, left side, look out.
Nice job to stay alive, foul it off.
I think, too, the fact that he did it in Detroit, which, let's face it, for a number of years, that was a place where we went and just saw the Indians get their teeth kicked in. Ramirez beats it out for an infield single.
Very nice hustle and a good play by Anderson as well. You go back to that game in Detroit and Ramirez hit a home run. Look at that. Mikey Montauk just hit it over the fence, and then a couple of doubles come. One to left center, one down the left field line. Then he's going to move over to the left side of the plate, hit a home run where it goes off the right fielder's glove and above and hits that railing for a homer. And then the double to straightaway center for his 5th extra base hit. He used the whole field that day.
Foul pole to foul pole. And I mean, then the last one, that's 420 to straightaway center field, and he one-hopped the wall.
Well, he may not be a big guy in stature, but I'll tell you, he can drive the ball the other way. He did it the other night, a breaking ball off the left center field wall. Off-speed pitch.
Edwin lined one to the shortstop. Tim Anderson able to make the catch back in the first inning. In the dirt, 1-1. How do you like that? Andre Thornton,
Yes,
back
indeed.
in 1982, drove in 109.
Big Andre, yes. He was the one guy they would pitch around. No question about it back then.
Out of play. Pulls it foul. You know, this is one of those things that I think about that you've probably spent 0.0 seconds ever contemplating in your life. But you mentioned Andre Thornton, and I immediately think back to being in the old stadium, watching some of those guys that you guys played in, and the thing I always remember was the sound the ball made coming off the bat. Because as a kid, you didn't spend that much time at a major league park. That's a different sound than when you see it around your little league or high school fields. And in that stadium, because they had the roof and the enclosed nature of it, it made a different sound than I've ever heard since.
There, especially when there was nobody in the seats. You know, it had
That's
coat
true,
off.
too.
But that's, as an outfielder, you could use that to your advantage over there. You know, you could tell when it was hit good or it was hit off the end of the bat, and that's, you know, that certainly helps. But yeah, when a guy could hit the ball and he put a good swing on it and crack one, it was a different sound like that.
Yes. But into the teeth of the wind, not going to get out of here. Shy of the track, Hansen able to make the catch, 2 down. And he did hit that hard.
It was like a thud. You know, you hear that. Yeah, you're going to have to drive it that way. They're not going to be any cheapies going opposite field today.
Jay Bruce, first time up with the bags juiced, drills one into right field. That gets him RBI number 100 and 101.
Yeah, good for him. Congratulations. He's happy about it. There's the smile. You know, going into that last game, you're right. If you have a chance to hit a target, it's awfully nice you can do it. You feel a little bit better because you work so hard for it. Not that you're thinking about it. First of all, you want to win the game, but it's nice to get. And actually, Chris Volstad, he set that whole inning up by walking the first 3 hitters of the ball game because they all came in to score a run. Since then, just a couple of singles. That's all he's given up in the 2 hits. Both of them singles.
"31 strikes, 21 balls out of the 52 pitches he's made so far here this afternoon." Ramirez takes off. The pitch is low. The throw is high, and a nice job by Anderson to come off the bag and keep it from going into center field. Jose with his 17th stolen base on the year.
Good jump. I mean, he was off and running. Really not much Brantley could do. And as a lot of catchers do when they see that guy get a good jump, you really try and get rid of it as quickly as possible. And a lot of times that front shoulder opens and it sails on you. But he stole that off Volstad.
Down and in, it's 3-1 now for Bruce. If he walks him, Carlos Santana is next. And he does. Ball 4. Back on September 14th. This is a memorable at bat for Jay Bruce. A game winner that extended the Indians' winning streak. Was that the one that got it to 21 or 22?
22. It broke the American League record.
That got it to 22.
Yes, he did. He knew it as soon as it left the bat.
Yeah, and that's the crazy thing. When we have some time to really sit back and reflect on that winning streak, that was one of the few. It was the only walk-off during the streak. It was one of the only times that it was ever really in jeopardy.
Right.
The shortstop Anderson throws out Santana. The Indians leave a pair. After 3, it's Cleveland 3, Chicago nothing. Fourth inning. Moncada, Abreu, Davidson do up for Chicago. Josh Tomlin 3 one-hit shutout innings. He has struck out 4. Usual cast of characters here. Matt Underwood, Rick Manning, Andre not down below, and we're joined now by Jensen Lewis as well. And Jensen, let's start with you here. When we look about that, we've talked a lot about the Indians pitching staff and how it will be assembled. Tito has not tipped his hand as of yet, but we'll know the lineup for the postseason and who's on, who's out before long. But Josh Tomlin is a guy that he's a veteran. He doesn't have overpowering stuff, but you know he's never going to crack under the pressure. He knows how to handle the spotlight. So what kind of role do you think do you envision for Tomlin in October?
This is probably one of the great roster questions when assembling this team moving forward because of what he did last year, guys. And you know, we're so used to seeing the power pitching, and Tito loves guys that pound the zone and throw a bunch of strikes. That's what Josh Tomlin has done. And I think the invaluable experience last year going on the road in Fenway, especially in the World Series in Chicago, I still contend is the best pitch game of last year. The 1-0 shutout, everything going on with his father. But yeah, the mindset, I think, for him, he's steady, he's calm, he's great under pressure, and I think that is a tiebreaker for him in getting a possible start.
0-2 pitch, swung on and missed. You don't see Jose Abreu struck out on 3 pitches very often, and Tomlin has now fanned 5 on the afternoon.
Matt, he may be a leader in a way that you wouldn't say about Corey Kluber, and the way that he handles himself day in and day out. I know when the Indians had their minor league guys here in the last homestand, you know, Tito and Mickey wanted the young pitchers to follow Josh Tomlin and Corey Kluber and watch their routines, watch how they prepare for every 5th day. The other thing I always remember about Tomlin is 2 years ago in spring training when they had 6 starters, and he came right out in the very beginning and said, I'll do whatever it takes. I want to win a championship. This team plays that way after I heard him say that.
Anybody have a stopwatch on that half inning?
This always happens. Let's go.
6 pitches. 1, 2, 3 go the Sox. on this, the final day of the regular season.
Well, there's a new one,
Working on another mini ball.
Good. Maybe we'll have one more.
It's a little bigger than usual. I believe that's a softball, is all I'll tell you.
Yeah?
Yes.
All right.
Nice.
The person that it is may not be happy about it.
Austin Jackson leading off here for the Indians. Yandy Diaz to follow Roberto Perez, then due up. We're joined once again by Jensen Lewis here in the 4th inning. Gents, we had Steve Carsey on last night. Don't know if you heard any of our conversation, but we were talking with him about Mike Clevenger and about his role now coming out of the bullpen. And you know, Carsey, if you remember, was a high energy guy, intense guy, similar to Clevenger. How can that work for you? How can that work against you coming out of the bullpen?
I think it's lethal, and we asked him on Indians Live, Al and I did, just about the maturation and understanding that when you move from being a starter to a reliever, that's a mentality switch more than anything. Physically, everything's there. You're going to be able to really empty the tank because you're not worried about saving yourself for a second or third time around the order. But guys, he is ridiculously effective against right-handed hitters. I think an average against under 180. And you think about the hitters he could possibly face, at least in his first round against the Twins or the Yankees, that's a huge weapon, as Tito called him, to have.
What's it do as far as his routine, though? You go from having to work every 5 days to possibly pitching on any day.
Yeah, it's warming up in the bullpen, Arch. Is usually the first thing where some starters, when they go do that the first couple of times, they throw too many pitches and then they can't bounce back the next day. For him, when you've watched him the past few times out, it seems like he's adapted very well. His routine as far as catch play before the game, maybe not as intensive as what he has during his work week in between starts, but man, guys, the slider, how that plays, mid-90s fastball, he's got such a funky release point that it makes it so difficult on righties.
Arch, that was part of the reason why the team put him in the pen when they did and had him go back-to-back this week. He said he felt better than he thought he would going back-to-back because Jensen, as you said, he went back a little bit on the routine a tad. He didn't throw nearly as much and pregame and things like that, and he says he felt fine after going back-to-back days.
So much of it is trial and error when you're making that transition, because if you haven't done it a lot, you don't know exactly what works and how much is too much.
I think the other thing too, Matty, is he's such an adrenaline guy that he's going to be able to pitch through maybe some soreness or something like that. When you get to the postseason, you've done all the work. He's certainly taken care of himself. And if you're getting 3-6 outs, I mean, he's probably in that 30-35 pitch range. Not too hard for him to be able to bounce back day in and day out. And those off days too, how they use Miller, I mean, you're able to really load him up for a couple innings at a time.
I got something for you guys after this pitch that I'm curious.
Chop towards third off his foot, so that's a foul ball. Go ahead, Andre.
Danny Salazar is not on the bench. He's out in the bullpen. And I've told you guys off the air, maybe on the air, that they are having discussions about possibly putting him in the bullpen for the playoffs. They don't know what they're going to do with him. Make him throw Tuesday in the sim game and hold out on him. Jensen, does it work the same way? I mean, Danny hasn't always wanted to be in the bullpen. He's willing to be there. We may see him today. How does his stuff play in that same situation?
Yeah, it's amazing how your mind switches when you got October outs on the line, and I think he'll fall in perfectly. You can see where Tito and the mindset, at least how he's going through possibly matching up with Clev and with Salazar. Number one, to take the workload off of Andrew Miller because of what he had to do last year and the injuries this year. But I think too, shortening the game. You could see Salazar in, after Trevor Bauer if the situation calls for it, and then go to Clevenger. Depends where you are in the order, but fellas, this is as deep a postseason pitching staff I can remember, and they're really in a great spot as far as the depth of power arms they're going to be able to run out there.
Jensen, I like the way you were going with that comment, because Rick and I were talking about this the other night, and what we both kind of laughed and came back to is, will Tito still go to Andrew Miller though when it's crunch time?
Yep, he certainly
every time, won't he?
Yep.
Thanks for stopping by. Appreciate the time as always. Another 1-2-3 inning. 4 complete. 3-0 Cleveland. Furniture. For the best deals on furniture and mattresses, shop Levin's. And by your Northern Ohio Honda dealers. Made in Ohio, Ohio proud. It's a 3-0 Indians lead as we go now to the 5th. Well, that guy had a rough day down at the lakefront, so he came down here to see if he could go home with a little better feeling. Rob Brantley 0 for 1, grounded out his only time up. Takes a pitch outside, ball 1. Roberto going to get a minute or so to walk it off. Josh Tomlin's given up 1 hit. 1 hit, and that was a well hit ball off the bat of Yoan Moncada in the first inning that hit off the wall in left center field. Moncada scorched another one in the 4th, but he hit it right at Jay Bruce. Other than that, I mean, they haven't even hit a ball hard off Tomlin other than those 2 at bats right there. There's the slow hook, and that's hit well down the right field line, and that is going to go out of the ballpark. They hit that one hard.
Yes.
Sox are on the board.
That just jumped right over the wall in right field. That's his 2nd homer for Rob Brantley. 23rd homer Josh has allowed. That's the breaking ball he stayed back on out over the plate. Watch his hands. He timed that one nicely. Stayed back on it and hits it out of the yard. So they're on the board with 1 swing of the bat.
Tim Anderson, who struck out his only time up, looks at the ball down low. Jam shot right back to the mound. 1 away.
To the plate now.
Player profile brought to you by Levin Furniture. Corey Kluber continues to distinguish himself among the not only among the best pitchers of today, but now he's starting to put himself into some of the best pitchers in a long time. With the numbers that he continues to put up year in and year out. Swung on and missed by Reimer Liriano, who went down swinging in the 2nd inning. And a foul into the mask of Roberto Perez, so he's taking a beating in this.
No kidding. Last couple games that he's been behind the plate, he's been hit a number of times. This is coming right in, right to the mask, right? The deflection off the bat, and nothing you can do about it. Boom, that hurts. You can see his whole body shake.
But that particular catcher's mask is designed to try and alleviate,
those hits.
The trauma,
the direct hits.
Yeah, supposed to, I don't know what the word is, disperse the energy more evenly as opposed to taking like a direct shot on your chin or your jaw. And that just missed, not by much. 1 and 2.
Well, there's a little cutter just off the plate on the outside.
And a foul back. down in the dirt. And the count evens now at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Well, you get a day like this with the sunshine, late afternoon start, fall season already upon us. Jason Kipp was not going to be able to get that one. That's going to ricochet off the wall. But he played it perfectly. And in the second with the double is Liriano. That was very similar to the double that Moncada hit in the first inning.
Yes, it was. And that one did not take long to ricochet off that wall. He went down and threw the barrel out of the bat there. And watch how long it takes. Right off the wall, getting it Snoop. There's no sense. I'm just going to wait for it to come back to me. 3.8 seconds from the bat to the fence. And that was on a line. So their third hit. Now all 3 hits have been extra base hits. They have the 2 doubles and the home run, and 2 of them coming in this inning.
I just love the way in these games, though, late in the year when you get this, especially these are rare. We don't get a lot of late afternoon starts. I love the way the shadows just creep across the entire field.
You wouldn't say that if you were hit.
And this ballpark in particular has such distinct features because the light towers,
right,
they're almost like fingers as they just claw their way across the diamond. It's a very distinct feature when you get these late afternoon game times. Tomlin delivers, and it's pulled foul. Alan Hansen rounded to second base, his only time up, only at bat of the series. To center field, Kipnis makes the catch, tagging, headed to third is Liriano, and the throw is not quite in time. 2 away. Corey Kluber has been good all season long. On September the 12th, he authored a complete game shutout against the Tigers as the Indians ran the win streak to 20 in a row.
Boy, you talk about being on the mark. That was one team that was able to get to Kluber this year was the Tigers.
(18-4). You know, it's hard to believe the year he won the Cy Young Award. He lost 9 games that year.
Well, they didn't score for him that year, not like they have this year. We always say you give Corey 4 runs and it's a lock, and it is.
Adam Engel swung on and missed. It's 1-2. Slow curveball misses down and away, and it's 2-2. Strike 3 called. Half a dozen Ks for Josh Tomlin. White Sox get on the board with a solo shot, but we're halfway through and the Indians on top 3-1. Blue Jackets home opener at Nationwide Arena against the Islanders. Countdown to face-off presented by your local participating Wendy's. Top of the order here in the home half of the fifth. Francisco Lindor walked and scored in the first, grounded out his last time up. Bouncing ball to second. Lindor retired, one away. In-game recap brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. Jay Bruce, a two-run single in the first. The Indians received 3 walks. All 3 came around to score. Only run for the White Sox, a solo shot by Rob Brantley in the top half of this 5th inning. Slow chopper towards first. Kipnis is retired, and there are 2 down.
Now into the batter's box for the Indians. Number 11, Jose Ramirez.
Jose Ramirez walked and scored in the first. He singled, stole a base in the third.
Yeah, the Indians with just 2 hits, the Jay Bruce 2-run single, and Ramirez had that infield hit, remember. Anderson tried to make a play, and now that's going to be a double.
Down the line, Hansen trying to cut it off. He can't, and Ramirez goes into second base with his 56th double of the year. One of the greatest offensive seasons in Indians history.
Look at that. He gets a ball out over the plate, and he just turns it, and he was going anyway, whether he fields it cleanly, but an awfully tough play. Hansen tried to, get it with the pop-up slide, but Ramirez is going to get his 56th double, his 91st extra base hit.
And we're going to see Michael Brantley get another at-bat. His first at-bat since August 8th. Last night was a thing of beauty. 10-pitch at bat, ended with a line drive single into right field. And what I thought was really cool was Terry Francona said afterwards that Matt Quintaro was down there in the hitting cage underneath with some of the young guys, and he said everybody stopped. Everybody stopped what they were doing and watched every pitch of that at bat on the monitors.
I'll tell you something else after this pitch.
Outside, 1-1.
Matt, he admitted to me this morning. Now, I know the shadows are out there and you guys are talking about the difference, but he may have those sunglasses on because he admitted he was a little emotional yesterday when he came up and he heard how the crowd reacted to him. He says anytime you can get a crowd to react to you, because I don't care how long you've been playing, that meant the world to him, that the fans were into it, his teammates were into it, and he said he was just happy that he saw a couple off-speed pitches in that at bat.
Ground ball towards second base. Big hop for Moncada. He'll flip it over. And the inning is over. 5 in the books. Cleveland 3, Chicago 1. He gets whacked by a purse that Mustard lifted off of Onion. And then in a stunning turn of events at the finish, down went Onion, and Ketchup takes home the regular season title in the Hot Dog Derby here at Progressive Field. Postseason almost here. It all starts next Thursday only on FS1. Actually, starts before that because you got the division series that will be on Tuesday night. The American League game we'll be watching between the Twins and the Yankees, because once that game is over, we'll know who the Indians will be playing, and we know what time the game will be played as well. Yan Gomes has taken over behind the plate for the Indians, and Greg Allen is now in center field for Jason Kipnis. Joe Smith up in the tri-pen. Josh Tomlin just over 70 pitches on the day. Sanchez bloops one into center field. Fourth hit for Chicago.
Didn't get much of it, but I'll tell you what, he stayed back and hit it off the end of the bat, and it was down in the count 0-2, and did a nice job to get himself a base hit.
Second baseman, Yoan Moncada.
Yoan Moncada. He's had 2 good at-bats against Tomlin today. Sends a routine fly ball to center. Greg Allen makes the catch. 1 away. Here comes Terry Francona, and we are going to get the Cleveland Clinic call to the bullpen. Tito will call for Joe Smith. With 1 on and 1 out here in the 6th, Josh Tomlin's final regular season start is a good one. He pitches into the 6th inning, gives up just 1 run on 4 hits. So Tomlin leads to a nice ovation. The Indians are up 3-1, and we will be right back.
He spotted the baseball like he always does. He keeps it out in the middle of the plate. He rode the fastball up on a couple of times, and then the cutter and that curveball, always so valuable to him. And his command is just outstanding. Again, no walks. He had 6 strikeouts, 5 1/3 innings. So he's in line for a win if the bullpen can come on and hold him the rest of the way. He's looking for win number 10, as a matter of fact. But Joe Smith will come on now with 1 out here in the 6th. And it's Tyler Saladino that's going to be hitting for Jose Abreu.
Joe Smith delivers down low, ball 1. Tyler Olson getting loose. It's a little bit high. And the count's 2-1. Into right field, Jay Bruce throws it down, 2 away. Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite. This is not only the play of the year for the Indians, but has to be for all of baseball.
Boy, it was a tremendous play, the situation of the game. He held on to it. They gave him a standing ovation, and when you're in Boston, watch Danny Otero, he just loved it. The hitter said, wow. I mean, that's about as good as it gets right there.
Big hop for Ramirez. He'll throw out Matt Davidson. And we'll go to the last half of the 6th with the Indians up 3-1. President's Cup. You also have tips for your game. Golf Zone tees off tonight at 8 on Fox Sports Ohio and streaming on Fox Sports Go.
Jimmy's at the ball game today, taking it in with his boys.
Do you like October golf?
Love it.
I do too. There's something about it.
Yes, if you can keep it, out of the leaves. It's as pretty as there is, boy. The colors, the trees, the greens.
Keep it out of the leaves. Like that's ever a problem for you.
It is.
Just drop one out in the fairway, you're fine.
Well, that's what ends up happening. But you don't want to look for it. Yeah, it's pretty out there playing fall golf.
Jay Bruce leading off here in the whole half of the 6th. Chris Volstad. delivers upstairs. No action in the Chicago pen as Volstad is just shy of 80 pitches.
Well, I'll tell you what, this kid, he hung in there after walking the first 3 batters of the ball game, giving up a 2-run RBI single to Jay Bruce and a sacrifice fly. He's settled in, only giving up 2 hits after that.
Red Sox shutting out Houston 3-0. They're in the 5th at Fenway. Those two teams will meet.
Oh boy.
Next week in the division series down in Houston to start.
They have a chance of meeting 9 times. The 4-game series they're just ending today, and the one that starts on Thursday could go 5.
Ground ball. And with the shift on, a little miscommunication perhaps, but they still.
I thought that was. I thought they were going to give him a base hit right there after it happened, but he ended up taking it, and they get him just by a whisker, man. He almost got beat it out. You watch. I thought Anderson was going to take it, and he stops and he lets Moncada get it and make the throw, and he just does get him at first base, barely. Well, he says, "I'm on your side of the field. You take it."
Now here's Carlos Santana. Drove in a run with a sac fly in the first. Santana went down. Must have found it off the front leg.
He sure did. He sure did, because he went down in a hurry.
Who do you like in that division series? Houston, Boston. Is there an edge one way or the other? Do you feel one team has a better chance?
Well, both teams play well, very well at home. Houston with 48 home wins, Boston with 48 home wins. You know, well, if they win today, it'll be 49, but hard to tell. I think Houston, if they're going to get the first 2 games down there, they like to hit in their ballpark. But, you know, Boston's a good offensive club, too. But I'd give Houston the edge with the home field.
The 0-1 pitch. I'll put it to you another way. The way Boston was kind of fading at the end.
Yeah, but that's all done. They're in. They're fine. They're going to get a couple days to catch their breath. That doesn't bother me. They'll be ready to go.
Santana with the fly to left. So you don't think this is going to be a walk in the park for Houston? You think it will be a series?
Absolutely not. It sure is. Yeah, that's a good series.
Any feel for the wild card game? Twins, Yankees.
My feeling is Minnesota's always had a tough time winning in there. Their best chance is what they're going in with Santana on the mound, you know, and all hands on deck. And that just transpired about 10 days ago, 12 days ago, and they beat Santana 2-1, but they could surprise you.
You think about those years where they had, you know, really good teams on a run, Gardenhire, year in and year out in the playoffs,
couldn't beat the
Yankees.
That was like Kansas City in the old days. They couldn't
Wouldn't
get past New York.
Wouldn't it be something of all years if this year they beat them in a 1-game wild card?
After losing 100 last year? Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me, by the way, because we know how that Minnesota team is.
Swing and a miss by Jackson.
Well, everybody's saying, you know, expecting, I think, the Yankees to move on and beat Minnesota, so they could shock you, yes.
The 0-2. Ground ball to short, Tim Anderson. Long throw on the money. Indians go in order. We go to the 7th. 3-1 Cleveland. Injury lawyers at Elk and Elk, proud partners of the Cleveland Indians. Call 1-800-ELK-OHIO. And by the stylish 2017 Kia Optima. Bob Feller candy bar for a nickel. Well, the Indians are up 3-1. 7th inning, Tyler Olson on to pitch. Potentially the only one batter. Rob Brantley, left-hander, will lead off. Then he had a couple of right-handed bats, and Zach McAllister is up in the Tribe bullpen. And again, this is just Tito trying to get people some work, trying to keep guys sharp. You got Lonnie Chisenhall now in left field for Austin Jackson. And Tyler Naquin taking over in right for Jay Bruce.
Pitching for the Tribe, number 49, Tyler Olson. Leading off for Chicago, number 44, Rob Brantley.
Tyler Olson facing Rob Brantley, who provided the only run of this game for the White Sox with a leadoff homer in the 5th inning. What do we got here?
Waiting for the time.
Oh, the clock's still ticking
yeah,
down.
Sure is.
Foul right back. Swung on and missed.
Got that fastball he fouled off, and then coming with the breaking ball, he'll probably see one more. See if he can get him to swing and chase it away.
2-strike pitch. Just threw the bat at it and got a piece of it. And as you always say, the only reason he's still alive is that that pitch was elevated enough to where he could get the bat to it.
Yeah, could reach it. A lot tougher to reach it when it's down in the strike zone.
Slow breaking ball struck him out. So Tyler Olson finishes his 2017 season with the Indians. 30 appearances, not a single run allowed. What a job by this left-hander, coming on and really giving the Indians a huge boost this year. Well, Tito's going to make another pitching change, and while he does that, we would like to send out our condolences to the family of Dave Strader, who passed away today at the age of 62 after a courageous fight against cancer. And play-by-play announcer of the Dallas Stars is going to be inducted into the NHL Hall of Fame this November as the recipient of the Foster Hewitt Memorial Awards. So our condolences to Dave's family at a very difficult time. Zach McAllister. He's on to face Tim Anderson and then Reimer Liriano. Fastball up high, ball one. One ball, one strike. Anderson struck out on the second, tapped one back to the mound in the fifth. Foul back. And the count is 2-2. Nice pitch. Struck him out looking.
You're right. Very good breaking ball there by McAllister. Locked up Tim Anderson. Watch. Good slider. Oh, he felt that it was a little low. Now
I see what he was upset
you see,
about.
I wasn't watching on the monitor when he threw it. I was watching from behind and just watching the pitch. And it did look a little low, but he gets a call.
Fastball strike. And a foul right back. Reimer Liriano, he scorched a double to center field in the fifth inning. But the White Sox managing just one run so far here today. The homer by Rob Brantley in the fifth. The 0-2. Strike three call. The Indians strike out the side here in the seventh. Olsen and McAllister combined for the hat trick.
yesterday. I had a chance to sit down with Hawk Harrelson, who is making his final road trip of his legendary broadcasting career. Hawk played for the Indians at the end of his playing career, and I asked him about his feelings about the Indians and the fans of Cleveland.
It all starts at the top. And now you've got something at the top. You got some leadership up there, and damn it, you got a whole lot of leadership down there with Tito. I mean, you don't go 13 consecutive years managing in today's market and go over 500 13 consecutive years. You just don't do it unless you know exactly what you're doing. Those guys love him down there. And this lies. These don't. You watch how those Indians play for him. And this club ain't going nowhere for a while. I picked Cleveland to win everything this year. You've got, to me, the best 6 starters in baseball. You've got a lockdown bullpen. There's not a bullpen in baseball better than yours. And they play hard. And you got Lindor, who's going to be a superstar. Ramirez is almost a superstar already. To me, he's been your most valuable player the last 2 years.
I agree.
You know, and you got guys, you know, I love Kipnis. I love the way they play the game. I love what I see with these.
Yeah. Well, on a personal level, I just want to say thank you, because when I started out, I didn't know one end of the press box from the other, and you were always very kind to me, so thank you. We'll miss you here in Cleveland. We'll see you next year when we go to Chicago, and best wishes in the future.
Well, you know, one of my all-time favorite announcers is Tom Hamilton. I love Tom. He gets me excited when I'm driving. I can listen to him, you know, on my Sirius XM. I'll be listening to a lot of games.
All right. Well,
okay, Matt.
You can put it on the board.
Yes.
Oh, he's a one-of-a-kind, isn't he?
That's beautiful. Yes, he is. He loves the game of baseball. He was a lifer in it, and he'll still be dabbling a little bit next year, but never on the road. It'll all be at home and usually on Sundays.
Yeah, just a select number of home games next year.
He'll do the Cubs at home. He won't go to Wrigley Field. He will do Sunday home games. So hopefully he'll do a couple of our Sunday games when we're in Chicago, because we get there 3 times.
For those of you who did not see the entire interview, I teased this the other night. I said, you're going to have to tune in to find out before we ran it. There was one thing that he did not like about his time playing with the Indians. He loved the organization. He loved the fans. He hated the old stadium.
The ballpark, yeah. I don't know many people that really enjoyed it. You know, it was a cold, damp place, especially for baseball.
There's fly ball to center field, hit well by Yandy Diaz. That's going to go to the gap and all the way to the wall. He's on his way to second base. He'll pull in there with a double. And a leadoff double for the Indians here in the 7th inning.
Well, he gets a slider, and that ball stayed down and pretty much middle of the plate. He hits it to left center field, so Yandy will get his 8th double of the year, and it's a leadoff double. So the Indians with an opportunity to put another run on the board.
Yan Gomes, his first at bat today.
I like how you guys did it in sync. You can put it on the board. Yes, because that's automatic. And I know that wasn't rehearsed.
Exactly.
I know it wasn't.
Because
I was watching that interview. I loved it because he was just going to finish his call.
That was great.
How many times have we said that up here?
Oh. And the players in the clubhouse. 1 down. As Gomes grounds out, we'll go to the top of the order, and Frankie Lindor. You know, and that's the other thing too, is that he does have a soft spot for Cleveland. And he told me the other night, he goes, you know, he said, I'm actually a very emotional person, and I think he's running through a lot of emotions right now. When you've done this as long, he's spent over 50 years of his life in the game of baseball, most of them in the major league level. And you know, I asked him, I said, what are you going to do when there's no game to prepare for, when there's no season to get ready for? And he said, I feel like I've kind of slowly been backing off little by little. I think he was hoping maybe that would make it a little easier. I don't think it will, though.
No, I agree.
And he told me, he said, Matt, I've been on the road since I was 12, 13 years old. He said, I was playing a lot of amateur ball by the time I was in junior high and in high school traveling. So he said, I feel like I've been on the road my whole life.
He has. He's a roadie.
Yeah.
And it may not be as easy for him to get out of it as he thinks.
But he does have his grandchildren, so I'm sure he'll.
I know some people in this area that have known Hawk and were in the restaurant business and stuff, and I've got some great stories, or heard some great stories from those guys when he played in his days here.
3-1 Indians on top. Lindor. And what in all likelihood will be his final at bat of the regular season.
You know, getting back to Hawk, this year they had a giveaway in Chicago, the Hawk Harrelson alarm clock. When we were there. Well, we weren't there, but they gave it away, and it's on some of his calls. You can put it on the board. Imagine waking up to that.
He gone.
That's right. Grab some pine.
Here's the 1-0. Down and in. 2 balls, no strikes.
But he was a general manager. And think about it, he's the guy that got rid of Tony La Russa when he was the general manager in Chicago.
Traded Bobby Bonilla to the Pirates for Jose De Leon. You probably faced him, didn't you?
Oh, yeah.
2-0 pitch. He was a good pitcher, too. It's just Bobby Bo turned out to be a really good outfielder for a long time.
He's still getting paid by the Mets for another 15 years.
We just saw that story. That was amazing.
It comes up every year.
Jace Fry loosening in the bullpen for Chicago. 3-0 count for Lindor with 1 on, 1 out here in the 7th inning. In off the plate, and Lindor draws a walk. And the Tribe has 2 on with 1 out. Greg Allen will get his first at bat of the day. Red Cross, they depend on financial donations to be able to provide disaster relief immediately. And you can help everyone who has been affected by hurricanes by visiting redcross.org or texting Red Cross to 90999 to make a $10 donation. So Greg Allen steps in here. Chris Beck steps away, now looks back in. He's only thrown 3 strikes out of 9 pitches. Foul right back. The 1-1 is grounded towards first, and a nice play there by Davidson. Goes to second for 1, back to first, not in time. There are 2 down, but there are runners at first and third. And Jose Ramirez will get 1 last at bat in this regular season. Appropriately, he doubled his last time up, giving him 56 doubles on the year.
Again, he's 2 for 2 with a walk, and he's looking for one thing. He wants the home run ball. He wants 30, and you can't blame him. You want to talk about having a number to get to. I guarantee that's why he's in the lineup and he's hitting here.
rips it foul. Oh, my goodness.
That was like a stone skipping on water. Ryan Roberts in Baltimore had 56 one year. Do you remember that?
Yeah. I do, actually, because there was a time there where he was kind of all they had offensively. And then once he started to tail off, it was almost like they had to sort of find that energy guy at the top of the order. The 0-1. How many homers Roberts had that year?
I'm sure you're going to hear about it in about 10 seconds.
1-1 pitch. Down and in.
What did it take?
It was 9 seconds.
Was it?
He only had 16 homers.
I got you.
Posey's got 29.
Well done, boys.
Good spot here. 2-1 pitch. Down and in. 3-1.
Well, Beck being careful because Hosey took him deep on September 4th when we were in Chicago. So, and after that first swing, he turned on his good pitch. He's going to be very careful here. Brantley is on deck.
Down and in. And he walks it. So Ramirez, it's almost like he grudgingly takes the walk here.
Well, you're right. He doesn't want to walk it. Maybe he'll get a pinch runner for him there. He didn't want to walk. He wanted to hit a homer.
Rick Rennery is going to make a pitching change. Got to go to the left-hander to face Brantley. We'll be right back.
By authority of the Cleveland Indians and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cleveland Indians.
3-1, the Indians lead it. And a crowd of over 30,000 turning out for this regular season finale.
Having some fun.
Yeah, and it's a great turnout considering that
outstanding.
This game doesn't mean anything.
Right.
You know, everybody's just having a great time. They're celebrating. You know, on one hand, they're celebrating a great season. On the other hand, they're also paying tribute to this team that has given them such a great season.
And they're getting ready for Thursday.
Indians officially on the year drawing just over 2 million fans. Almost 500,000 more in attendance this year than a year ago.
Outstanding. Well, this team deserved it. That's for sure. They played their way into it. These fans, they continued to come out even after, you know, school started and things because of the streak. It meant so much to this. Not only the team, but the city, the fans.
And Michael Brantley getting his second at bat of the day, facing the left-hander Jace Fry. Called a strike outside corner. Boy, oh boy, Adam Engel in center field is way over in left and pretty shallow.
He's saying he's not going to pull the ball. He's giving them all right center field. If he hits it, he's going to hit it the other way.
Spun him out of the way, 1-1. There are the base runners. Yandy Diaz led the inning off with a double. Francisco Lindor walked, was forced out on the Greg Allen fielder's choice, and then Jose Ramirez walked to load him up. And a 1-1 pitch up and in. 2 balls and a strike. Bloop towards third. It's fielded there by Sanchez, and the side is retired. 7 in the books. It's still 3-1 Cleveland. Entered the game, and we'll send it downstairs to Andre Knott.
Well, we know all season long that Trevor Bauer and crew have done a great job of putting the mini baseball team together. Here's the Nick Goody, and I'm going to tell you why the Nick Goody one looks the way it is and why it came out today. Nick was so excited about this and wanted one so bad that they made this a month ago. They just held on to it and wouldn't put it out because they wanted him to wait as long as possible for it. Now, that's the one that was done today. Be patient. Trevor, if you hit me in the eye again, that'll be twice. This is the second one. This is Gio Urshela. And if you notice, it's with a softball. That's not nice, Gio, that they did this to you. Gio's looking right now.
Big old head.
This guy's like a little bigger than most.
That cup's a little bigger than the normal ones they use.
You got it. If you look down here, one's on a big cup, one's on a smaller cup.
Holy
the
smokes.
mini team.
Tell Gio I like that head better.
And you guys see Dickon try to get into the shot too?
No, I did not.
He tried to. He heard he was hanging out with you in the postseason.
Alan Hansen leading off, and Andrew Miller with the first pitch strike.
We're going to be delivering pizzas together, Andre.
Swung on and missed. Swing and a miss, and down on strikes is Hansen. That's 4 consecutive strikeouts by Indians pitchers.
Miller coming back with the fastball. Doesn't mess around, throws it right by him.
Nice moment right here. Terry Francona is subbing out Jose Ramirez and Frankie Lindor, giving them an opportunity to walk off to a huge standing ovation.
Big Ed comes into the game.
He goes to second base, Gio, and Eric Gonzalez is now at short. Adam Engel takes a strike. Checks his swing, and it's going to go foul. Count quickly 0-2. Strike 3 called, 2 down. Andrew Miller with a couple of strikeouts. How about that play? Remember Gio made that play out in San Francisco?
Oh yeah, going to get the lead runner at second. They turned the double play, no question. Yes, I do.
Now Andrew Miller goes off to a huge standing ovation. You're right, Arch. These folks, they're getting juiced up now.
Yes, they are.
They can feel the postseason now creeping in. Timeout for another. Brian Shaw coming on to face Yolmer Sanchez, who has 1 hit today and 3 hits in the series. Brian Shaw with the first pitch strike. The last 5 White Sox hitters have all gone down via the strikeout. Ground ball to second base. Gio kicks it, can't come up with it cleanly. And on the air, Sanchez is aboard with 2 down here in the 8th.
Well, just a routine play, and he just didn't catch it cleanly, and took a little stumble, and Sanchez will beat it out. It'll go as an error for Shella. It does bring the tying run to the plate.
And Yohan Moncada is 1 for 3 on the afternoon with a double. That snaps a string of 8 in a row retired by the Indians. Swung on and missed, and it's 1-2. Bryant Shaw ready now. Here's the pitch. Just missed inside. Moncada steps away. The 2-2. Bounced in front of the plate. Gomes with a nice block. Keeps the runner at first. And now a full count. Dodgers shutting out the Rockies in Colorado 5-0 in the 6th inning. LA already having clinched the best overall record in the majors with 103 wins coming into today. Runner goes, 3-2 pitch, low, ball 4. Tying run at first, and Tyler Saladino coming to the plate.
Hitting down for Chicago, number 20, Tyler Saladino.
Saladino swing and a miss. Threw it by him. 0-2. And now this crowd of better than 30,000 wants to see Bryant Shaw put Saladino away. And it's up high, 1-2. The pitch, swung on and missed. He struck him out to end the inning. White Sox strand a pair. We'll go to the last half of the 8th. 3-1 Cleveland. Mazda. Josh Tomlin in his final tune-up for the playoffs was terrific. Big moments of 2017. We've taken a look back at many of them. What about you? Do you have anything that sticks out, Arch? Is there a particular moment that you look back and say, man, that was a defining moment, or was there anything?
No, there was too many of them that went on this year. You know, they were, treading water the first half. No, there's no one. They have done so many things well this year and just played so well as a team. It's crazy.
Chase Fry misses.
Rarely do you see a team win 100 games anymore, and when you do, it's special. The pitching was dominant. That impressed me all year long. The way that Ramirez and Lindor played. Encarnacion came on. Santana had a great year. Offensively, they started to gel together the second half. There's a lot of different things. It's hard to, pick one out of the course of 6 months.
2-0 pitch. Call a strike.
Let's go, boys. You don't sit up there and wait. He's going to call anything. Let's go. Swing it.
Corey.
That guy there, the role he's been on, he's been the best pitcher I've ever seen on his run.
Chop to second. One away. Back on August 24th, the Indians played the Boston Red Sox, and Chris Sale got the start, and the Indians absolutely tattooed him
for the second straight start against them. They got him up in Boston too, but they didn't get he didn't get the loss. But this was a game, I think, a coming out party where Yandy Diaz, who had the 4 hits, and the Indians even that series up. They won the first game, they lost the next 2, and they took off. That was the start of their winning streak right there, beating Chris Sale.
They've won 32 of 36 since that game.
That's absurd too. Now I go back and I was thinking about that today before I was coming in, and I'm thinking, the last time I've seen a team on a streak like this, it was the '83 Tigers, where they started out 35-5.
84 Tigers,
or
right?
84 Tigers. I'm sorry.
Started the season out
right.
That
They
way.
started the season that day, and Jack Morris had a no-hitter in between there, and it came against these White Sox. So I was thinking about that, and that's probably the last time that a team took off like that. I had a chance to watch it every day, and it's something special.
And again, it's kind of brings us full circle to something I said earlier. It's not how you start that people remember, but how you finish. And that Tigers team, yeah, they won it all, and that's what you always remember.
They played about 500 after that.
But they were roughly a 500 team the rest of the way.
Right.
I think this team, because they've roared to the finish line, it's going to leave more of an indelible impression in people's minds.
No question, because right now everybody's expecting these guys to win the World Series. You talk the people I talk to and everything. Oh, you guys are going to win it all. I said, hey, wait, back off.
Yeah.
You don't give anything. No. I'll tell you what, they earned this division. They played hard. It was fun to watch, but once the postseason starts, it's all you're all 0-0 again.
I talked to Kenny Singleton about that one time. He played on the '79 Orioles team,
right, with 3-1,
over 100 games, and they were up 3-1 on the Pirates,
right,
and they lost the World Series. So, what you do in the regular season is great. You can't say it doesn't mean anything, because it means a lot. But in a 7-game series,
starts anew, boy.
Anything can happen.
Well, you got to get through a 5-game series first, and then a couple of 7-game series. So I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be an exciting postseason. There's some very good baseball teams in the playoffs, and anything. And ironically, we ended up playing the National League West this year in interleague play. And they beat up the Indians.
Yeah.
When you think about it, they roughed them up. So, hey, who knows what's going to happen?
No, you hit the nail on the head. You said a lot of good teams in the playoffs. Think about 2 100-win teams in the American League alone this year.
Yeah, and then you have the Dodgers in their phenomenal year. And then Washington. How about the start they got off to?
They got 97 wins.
And then Harper went out. If they got to come back healthy, hey, you can't sell them short. There's some really good baseball teams in the playoffs.
And the team that nobody's talking about right now is the defending world champs.
Exactly, and they're playing lights out. I mean, I think they won 3-0 today, or they're winning 3-0.
Think about this.
Oh, they're getting beat 3-0.
They're sneaking in with 92 wins.
Well, they're not sneaking in because they're the champs. They're the ones that have to be beat. They're the world champs.
But I mean, they're under the radar now.
Yes.
Because of how great the Dodgers season has been. Lonnie trying to spit into the wind.
You don't do that today.
And that's 2 down. So the 22-game winning streak, something we'll talk about for many years to come. They outscored their opponents by a ridiculous margin.
Right, over 100 runs.
They hit more homers than they allowed runs.
The starters ERA 177. They had 19 wins, 19, and they scored 19 of the 22 games first. 7 shutouts. Yeah, it was a very special streak, or let's call it for the month or whatever it is. But that's so hard to do at the major league level in baseball. You just ask any player. And you don't luck into any of that. You work your way into that and play your way into that. That's hard to do.
And I don't know if this makes it any more amazing, but it was just a year prior we watched this same team set the franchise record with a 14-game winning streak. And then the very next year, they go on a 22-game.
They had to win one of those games in the 14 innings, or excuse me, 19 innings.
Yeah, the year before, yeah. The 0-1. By the way, the Astros just scored 4 times in the top half of the 7th inning to go ahead of the Red Sox 4-3.
Guys, I find it fascinating hearing you guys talk about the Cubs and how they start playing well here in the second half of the season. That's the 2 teams that were in the World Series last year. It took this long. Both teams, I've read about it, and I've asked a lot of our guys. They don't believe in the hangover from the World Series, but there's obviously something different early in the season.
Yeah, I think at least from the Indian standpoint, I didn't see it so much as a hangover effect as a who are we? You know,
right.
What is this team's identity? And it just took a while. And, you know, Kip was out. He was hurt.
Yeah.
And
every year's different.
Edwin was trying to find his way around the clubhouse and figured out who he was.
Matt, you're right, though. The identity of this team this year to last year is 2 completely different things.
Yeah.
Completely different. Now, I can't speak for the Cubs.
I'm saying it's the same thing there, too.
Probably.
Every year is different. And then you got the target on your backs when you get to that World Series because every team is watching you 2 play. And when they come out, teams want to beat you.
I thought about that when Matt brought up the problems this team had against the NL West. I thought early on Arizona attacked them and came at them when we were out there in April. I thought Colorado was more up to play the Indians than they were to play them when we were in Colorado. And not taking anything away from them, but Michael Brantley said it at one time. He goes, we have to figure out that teams get up to play us.
Yes, indeed. They sure do. When you're a winner.
Well, that's not a problem anymore because this team has figured out who they are now. They know how good they are.
That's all part of the process.
And now it's a matter of taking it on into the postseason and trying to win the whole thing. The throw to first will retire the side. And we'll go to the 9th with the Indians in front 3-1.
We head to the ninth. Cody Allen in to try to pick up the save. Indians looking for win number 102. Welcome back to center field along with Jensen Lewis, Al Pulowski. Well, Jensen, just about everybody that needs some work today getting in.
Yeah, and they got a chance to win the last game of the year, get themselves ready, bubble wrap the guys to get home and be ready for Thursday night.
All right, Thursday night it is, the American League Division Series. We have a pre and a post game show for you that night. Tonight, stay tuned after the game for Indians Live. Brought to you by Conrad's Tire Express and Total Car Care. Let's head back upstairs for the ninth. Here is Matt and Rick. Guys?
Yeah, thanks, Alan. Just a reminder to follow up on what Al was saying there. We will be with you all the way through postseason right here on Sports Time Ohio. Now, wherever the games are being played, you watch the games there. FS1, Fox. But before, 2 hours before every postseason game, tune to Sports Time Ohio. Andre and I will be with the club, in the locker room, on the field. Rick, Al, and Jensen will be in the studio with highlights and analysis. Some of the coverage will also be based right here inside the ballpark out there on the studio set. So we're your home for the Tribe postseason all October long, before and after every game. Cody Allen with a first pitch curveball, strike to Matt Davidson. Abraham Almonte stays in the game. He's in the left field, and Lonnie Chisenhall stays in the game at first base. Swing and a miss. A little bit outside. Davidson lays off. Outside corner, breaking ball, called, third strike. One down here in the ninth. Pat O'Brien Chevrolet play of the game back in the first inning. You play with fire, you're bound to get burned. You walked the first three hitters to start the game. Jay Bruce made him pay. Two-run single. They added a sacrifice fly, and so far that's all they have needed. The pitching has made it stand up. Only a solo shot by Rob Brantley in the fifth for the White Sox here this afternoon. Cody Allen with a good fastball for strike one to Brantley. That curveball looks pretty sharp here today. It's 0-2.
Yes,
Swung
he
on
did.
and missed. He went for it. Gomes picks it up, throws to first, 2 down. Tim Anderson 0 for 3 on the afternoon. Now the wide, the 1-0. Ground ball to third. Yandy has it. He'll throw to first. That'll do it. The Indians finish the season with 102 wins. They take the series, winning 2 out of 3 from the White Sox. And now all eyes turn to Thursday here at Progressive Field, where they will host Game 1 of the American League Division Series. Josh Tomlin gets the win, his 10th of the year. Cody Allen finishes with his 30th save of the year.
amazing. They scored all 3 runs in the first inning and able to hold on to it and hold on to the win as they tune up for Thursday.
It has been a season that we will not soon forget. So many wonderful memories, so many incredible moments, and hopefully many more still to come. "3-1 is the final. We'll be back with some final thoughts and a special look back at this season to remember right after this.